Hello, I'm Brenna from Genially. Welcome to this webinar in which we will learn how to use the online tool Genially to create interactive and animated content in a fast and easy way. We will look at the basics, from how to choose a template, add our content, apply interactivity and animation, and finally, how to share our creation with the world. We hope that you enjoy this session. Remember to hit like if you like it, and if you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to be kept up to date with other webinars that we're doing, as well as other awesome content. You can ask us any questions that you have in the chat during the webinar, and we'll answer them live. Ready? Let's begin by accessing the Creation panel. It's very simple. On the Genially homepage, click on Login. Enter your login information. That is, the email address and password that you use to register. If you registered with a connection to a different platform, you can log in by making use of the single sign-on option, which will take you directly to the panel. Next, you will see your panel. Now you have everything ready to begin. Let's go. Within your panel, you can find lots of interesting categories. From Create Genially, you can choose from over 1,000 templates, or you can start from scratch with a blank creation. In My Creations, you can access all of, you guessed it, your creations. If you don't have anything created yet, you will see the different types of creations that you can make. You can switch between viewing the categories of creations or your own creations by making use of these two options on the left side menu. Below them, we have other options. In My Brand, you can access premium features such as how to personalize your logo, upload your own graphic resources, colors, and even upload your Google Analytics ID in some cases, depending on your plan. You can keep everything under control. In Inspiration, you have access to a wide variety of Geniallys created by users like yourself. Some of them are even reusable, so that you can save and edit your own copy. On top of that, you can also find some social profiles that we've highlighted in order to inspire you even further. Let the creativity flow. Finally, at the bottom, you can see the different types of plans that are available and manage your own Genially plan. Now we're going to create our first Genially. When you're ready to start creating, think to yourself, what is the topic of the content you want to create? What type of content do you want to create? Based on these questions, you can navigate through the 12 categories of creations that are available, or you can search for certain keywords using the search function. This can be a word related to the topic you're going to develop, science, marketing, books, or it can be the type of creation that you want to make, infographic, calendar, game. For our first Genially, we are going to make use of a presentation. The presentation templates will help you to effectively transmit your ideas, stories, and everything else that you want to share with your audience, but with a spectacular design and animation included. Today, we're going to select the template Desktop Presentation. If you click on it, you can preview the template and therefore see which pages it includes, as well as the pre-designed interactivity and animation. Keep in mind that the templates are the base over which you're going to add in your own content. And you can be as loyal to the template as you want, or you can personalize it down to the smallest detail. Text, images, videos, colors. Let's see how to do it. By clicking on Use this template, we can get started with our personalization, even before entering the editor. You can choose the pages that your Genially will have. Choose the pages by clicking on each one, and then on Add to start editing. For today, we're actually going to select all pages. Once we're inside the editor, we're going to start by adding our own textual and visual content. Now, the very first thing that I recommend doing is naming your creation up here on the title bar. This is going to help you find your creation back in the future when you have lots of awesome things made. Let's call this one My First Genially. Now, to edit text, we just have to place our mouse over the text box, click, and then add in our own content. We can personalize our text by utilizing the options available on the toolbar up here. We could change the color, the font type, the size, and much more. You'll notice that the options that appear here on the toolbar will vary depending on the type of element that we have selected. Look how they change if we click on this image here. The text options disappear, and now we can see the options that are exclusive for editing images, such as masks. Now let's talk about the visual part. When you choose a template, a lot of times you do so because of the aesthetic or because you like the layout of the elements. Take advantage of the template's design while also giving it that personal touch by replacing images. This option allows you to substitute the images and resources found in the template for others that are available within the editor or with content that you've created yourself or found online specifically for your Genially. Let's see how to do it. Place your mouse over the image you want to change and click. Then we're going to click on the Replace option. Here, you can search for a new image or upload one of your own. Upon replacing, we can also make use of the image editing tools so that your image looks exactly like you want it to, and it also adapts to the original design. To do so, you just have to double click on it, and once the tools are enabled, you can turn, flip, zoom, or expand the crop area. And once you've finished editing the image, you just click on the blue check and you're all ready. Now remember that those image editing tools work when replacing images from a template, as well as when you add them yourself. Now, aside from replacing, you can also load your own resources from the main sidebar, selecting either the image or the resources menu, depending on the type of content that you want to add. Now, when you have your first page ready, it's time to move on to the other pages so that we can continue adding our own content. To navigate between the different pages of your creation, we can use the Pages menu from the main sidebar. We just have to click on the page that we want to go to, and then we can edit it. From the same menu, we also have the option to organize our pages so that navigation through our creation flows and is coherent. Here, you can rearrange your pages, duplicate them, delete them, or rename them, as well as add new pages. Let's see how to do it. To rearrange pages, just click on the page that you want to move, and without unclicking the mouse, drag it to the new area where you want it to be positioned, and then unclick. If you want to create new content in a fast and easy way, you just have to add new pages to your creation. Simply click on Add Page, and from this menu, you can add new pages from other templates, from creations that you already have made in your panel, as well as pages from the template that you're currently using. Now, as an alternative, you can also duplicate a page that you already have in your creation, including all of its content. Hover over the page and an icon will appear that, when clicked, creates another page in your creation by duplicating the first. In order to avoid confusion, you can rename the duplicated page. To do this, move your mouse over to the name and click. Then you'll be able to write in the new page name. Naming your pages is especially useful when you make use of the Go to Page interactivity to ensure that you're connecting your pages exactly as you want them to be connected. Now, let's talk a bit about interactivity so that you understand exactly what we mean by it. Interactivity is the way in which we explore digital creations. It allows us to interact with the content in an immersive way, just like we would in real life, intuitively. Now, unlike the more common editing tools where all the information is displayed together on the same slide with a flat layout, interactivity helps us to transmit information in a short, scaled, visually appealing, and well-distributed way. It allows us to create connections between ideas, uniting different pages with just one click, or distributing the information in different layers of content, such as with tooltips or windows, that appear upon interacting with them. On top of that, these layers can be enriched with extra content, such as video, audio, virtual tours, images, and much more. They act as a way to generate an immersive and explorable environment. Do you want to know how? Just click on the element that you have on your canvas, the one that you want to apply interactivity to. You'll see that above it, a few buttons appear, two of them being the hand and the meteor. The hand is the icon for interactivity. Upon clicking it, we will see the 4 types of interactivity that Genially has available. Or if the element from the template already has interactivity applied to it, you'll see what that is. Let's begin by discovering tooltips. These are extremely useful for showing a small amount of content, such as a brief text or a few images. When we pass our mouse over an element with this type of interactivity, the content is revealed to us in a new layer. And once we move the mouse, it disappears. Now, the second type of interactivity available is the window. Windows allow us to add much more content, since there's no limit to the number of characters you can add. Just like in tooltips, we can insert text, images, videos, documents, tables, and even embed codes from other platforms. Windows help to make our content more accessible and to simplify our communication. In order to make the window appear, we have to click on the interactive element. And we also have to close it in order to make it disappear. Go-to-page interactivity gives you the possibility of linking the pages of a Genially together. With this functionality, we can guide our audience to relevant content depending on their decisions or answers, thereby creating personalized branches or paths. Now, there are various options for go-to-page interactivity. And these are designed to make our work easier and improve our audience's experience. For example, it's useful for generating indexes, such as this one, where each tab is connected to its corresponding page. Now, aside from the 3 types of interactivity that we've already mentioned, we also have the option to hyperlink other websites. You can direct your audience to your organization's social media profile, to your website or blog, or to a task within your organization or school's LMS. You can even link to another Genially. It's really great to distribute the information in interactive layers, but it's equally important that our audience knows where they can find that information. And this is where animation plays an essential role. Through the use of animation, we can bring our static content to life using visual effects that captivate our audience. Among other things, it helps us to organize information hierarchically, keep our audience's attention, make our creations more memorable, and, as we mentioned previously, it's the key for indicating that a certain element is interactive. To add animation to our elements, text, and resources, we first choose the element that we want to animate. Click on it, and this time we're going to select the meteor icon. Now, from the menu that appears on the right-hand side, we can select the type of animation that we want to apply among the 4 types that are available. Let's start with entrance animation. It's perfect for adding sequential entrances that are going to amaze anyone who sees your creation. This type of animation allows us to configure with which kind of movement and when an element appears once that particular page of your Genially is loaded. It's super useful when we have lots of different elements on a page. This way, we can improve the visual load and increase our audience's interest in our content by spreading out that information. Let's try this with the classic fade-in animation effect. Now from this menu, we can also personalize our animation by setting up the direction, as well as the time that it starts and the speed. Let's give this a start time of 0.2 seconds, and we'll see what that looks like. Now, we can copy the same animation to the rest of the elements on the page, and that will be useful for spreading out the information that we present to our audience, as well as organizing it hierarchically and facilitating how that information is assimilated. And to make our job even easier for us, it's possible to copy animation effects and paste them to other elements at the same time. To do so, we first need to copy the animation and then select all of the elements that we want to animate. Then we'll click on the meteor icon again to open the animation menu and paste. Now, this is the same thing we would do if we only had one element selected. And now we have that same animation applied to all of those elements on our canvas. Now, of course, it's possible to also change the time that each element enters by selecting each one individually. This is going to have an even greater hierarchical organization effect. Now, the opposite animation effect from what we've just seen is exit animation, which means that the elements will leave our page in a moment that we decide. This animation type allows us to uncover hidden elements or to simplify our message by keeping only the most important factors on the page. This type of animation can also be useful for evaluating alternatives in a presentation, eliminating options until we're left with only one. Now, the third type of animation that we can find is continuous animation, which is going to be one of our biggest allies when it comes time to emphasizing our interactive elements and persuading our audience to click on them. With this type of animation, our elements will be in constant movement. Now, we recommend that you apply this type of animation when you apply interactivity. In fact, if you make use of the interactive elements available on the main sidebar, you'll see that they have a preset animation that helps with this. Finally, we have hover mouse animation. This invites your audience to explore and experiment. Some of the effects that are available can make your animated object disappear, change colors, change size, making this functionality the perfect tool for your gamifications, your digital escape rooms, or digital narration. It's also useful for the creation of buttons and to indicate the interactivity of an element. As you can see, there are multiple options. We recommend that you try the different effects by placing your mouse over each option. The element that you have selected will move so that you can preview the animation effect. Remember that animation is cumulative, so you can have an element appear in a specific moment, maintain a continuous effect during a certain period of time, generate an effect by hovering your mouse over it, and then, after a determined amount of time, disappear. However, keep in mind that we recommend you use animation in moderation so as not to oversaturate your audience. Now we know how to spread out the information and call attention to it. Now let's see the third Genially functionality that allows us to complement our content and make it even more amazing. Insert. With this functionality, we can embed different types of content within our creation, thereby offering our audience all the content they could ever want, all within the same platform without needing to leave. That way, we can maximize the full potential of the internet and its content. We can insert 3 types of content: audio, video, and other external content, which is what we would get from all kinds of web providers. Now, in order to insert content, we just have to open the Insert menu on the main sidebar, select the type of content that we want to insert, and follow the steps in each tab. Let's see a few examples. If we want to add audio from an online platform like Spotify, SoundCloud, or Mixcloud, we just have to paste the corresponding link right here. And we can also record our own audio directly within the editor and adjust the settings. Let's try it out. We're going to click on the microphone to start recording. Remember that you'll have a window pop up on your navigator asking for permission to use your microphone. If you don't allow it, you won't be able to record. So let's record. This is an audio recording test. Click again to stop recording, and it will appear directly on the canvas. With this feature, it's very easy to narrate your content in order to be even more successful with your communication. You can see that the audio settings menu will open, where you can then further personalize your audio file. Now let's talk about videos. Genially lets us embed videos directly onto the canvas in 2 ways: by using the link from online platforms such as YouTube and Vimeo, or directly from our cloud storage with Drive. We can see all of these options from the Insert menu. We can also easily replace videos that come with the template. Let's go to a page in our template that has a video and substitute this one for another. Click on it. And we can see, just like with the audio feature, that the settings menu appears, which is going to allow us to personalize the video that we have inserted. From here, we can also replace the video. I am going to paste a new URL and then click on Replace. And it's that easy. Now, the Replace option is especially useful in order to keep our design intact. If we had an animation effect applied, that will also remain there. Remember that, as we saw when we talked about interactivity, you can also insert videos within tooltips and windows. Finally, we also have the ability to include content from other platforms by inserting the HTML code of the element that we want to embed. The possibilities are almost unlimited, since we can include things like maps, text documents, self-assessment forms, games, 3D models, or explorable 360-degree images. We can also embed other Geniallys. Now, when we're finished creating, it's time to publish and share our creation with the world. Before publishing, our creation is considered in draft form. This is going to be the default status of your creations, and it means that your Genially has not been published online yet, and only the person editing it has access to it. To publish, click on All Set in the upper right-hand side of the editor. A menu will open in which we can select different settings depending on how accessible we want our creation to be, and even if we want it to be reusable. When we've selected our options, click on All Set, and our Genially is now published. Upon publishing the creation, a window with 3 options will appear: Present, Share, Download. The most common way to share your creation is with the link. Let's see how to do it. We just have to copy the URL by clicking on Copy, and then you can paste it into an email, share it in a direct message, or post it on any social media. You also have other options to share that you can explore by clicking on these other tabs on the Share menu. Now, if you work together with a team, you should know that Genially can also be integrated into both Google Classroom and Microsoft Teams. So if you work in an educational or professional environment that uses these platforms, we can share our creations with our team really easily directly from this menu. Now, if you want to share your published creations with the world, you can also do so with the Genially social profile. This is a personal page where you can gather and show off the creations that you want. To activate your social profile, you just have to do so from your user profile, which you'll find by clicking on the upper right-hand area of your panel. The first time you activate it, you'll be asked to choose a username for your social profile. This is unique, will be shown on your profile, and it cannot be changed. So choose wisely. Add all the creations you want from the editor or from the panel, and share your social profile on social media with the link. When you want to deactivate it, you can do so easily from your user profile. We hope that you've enjoyed this webinar, which has been an introduction to Genially. These are just a few of the many actions that you can take with this versatile tool. We encourage you to jump in and start creating, and then send us any doubts that you might have. You can find step-by-step guides in our Help Center, learn with courses and microlearning in our Genially Academy, and of course, discover tips and news on our social media channels and in our blog. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to be kept up to date. See you next time. Bye.